All righty, ladies and gentlemen, this is Wayne here with Locksmith Live every Monday at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And today we've got a special guest, and our special guest is from the Texas Locksmith Association. Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what you do for the association, please.
Hello, my name is Marion Arnold. I'm the first vice president of the Texas Locksmith Association, and my job is to try my best to get everything organized with the president and the second VP and the rest of the board, as well as take care of all of our lovely vendors and instructors, etc. It's a lot of fun.
Nice. Cool.
A lot of talking.
A lot of talking and
Oh, yeah.
more talking. Now you're doing a little more promotion and stuff for the event right now. When did you come into this position?
Well, I started off last year by being voted in as Sergeant of Arms on the board, and then due to some personal stuff, our first VP had to step aside, and the board asked me to fill his position for the rest of the year.
Oh, okay, great. So this is a recent transaction.
Yeah, it's been a couple of months. I'd say it's been about 6 months or so.
Within this year, though.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah, and then TLA puts on a really good event. I was down there a couple years ago. I don't remember exactly when it was. I think it was pre-COVID. I think it was
I was going to say, I think it's on our page. I think it's 2018.
2018, yeah. And we taught social media marketing classes. Stacy was down there teaching automotive classes. Sean was down there teaching. There was quite a few people. And it's a really good local event. I mean, it actually kind of rivals some of the bigger national events. I mean, you guys have some really, really good numbers, and you also have some top tier instructors. For those who are looking for hands-on training now, like let's say they didn't get a chance to go to some of the other stuff during the summer. Maybe they didn't get to go to the Aloha convention or something else. And they want to get in, or maybe they did do that and they just want to add one more thing to their toolbox this year. What does TLA offer as far as training this year? What are your best instructors and your best classes that are being put on so far this year?
Well, I'll tell you, we've actually got quite a few. First off, we're going to have a Leashy class from 6 to 8 on Thursday that Jareth Garza from Locksmith Academy, as well as a lot of other conventions. He was at UHS this year, I think. He's going to be teaching a Leashy class, and also is very much fighting for that lovely belt we have going with our Leashy contest during the show.
Right. And let's talk about that for a minute. So
Sure.
What are the rules of the contest, and tell us how that contest works a little bit.
So the way it works is we've actually had some people in the association build us, I don't remember what we called it, but essentially we've gone and placed locks on these two doors that are like cross-sectioned, and all the way down we have different, you've got your Schlage and your quick set and a bunch of different things for people to be able to pick open.
Yeah.
And it's a timed event. Last year, we had, we're going to have some stuff in there that's going to catch you up too. Like, we don't want it to get, keep it simple, because, nothing is ever that simple.
So are you saying that these locks are built and pinned and set up by a professional locksmith? Now, are the rules are that it's all stock, or they're allowed to put nasty things in there?
Oh, well, there's going to be a couple of, we call it the golden monstrosity. And what it is they've gone through and pinned things up. And it's not like, there's going to be a couple of ones in there that kind of, catch you up a little bit. Because as you know, like, there's different types of top pins and everything that can, mess it up whenever you're trying to pick open or leash a lock.
Sure.
And so we've had them all pinned up. And that's stock mostly, but there's going to be a couple of things to trip you up.
Okay. And so how does this work? Like, if somebody's out there watching this right now, how do they sign up to be part of the lockpicking competition? Do they have to be a TLA member?
As far as I know, I mean, it's preferred to be a TLA member, but our convention's open to everybody.
Okay, so that's a great point right there. So anybody that's watching, if you meet the requirements and you are licensed, if you're in a licensed state and you carry a current active license, such as Texas, you'd have to have a current active
Mhm.
Texas locksmith license. You can come and you can attend this event and you can take the classes. Whether or not, and maybe that might help people decide whether they want to be a member or not. If they're
Yeah.
not members right now, they can come out, they can check it out. And if they like what they see and see that, hey, this really adds value and speaks to me, I can then invest and become a member.
Well, exactly. Plus, obviously, if you're a member, the price of the classes is going to be different across the
Okay,
board.
so there is an advantage to being a member. What is the price reduction roughly?
Like for instance, one of our other big classes this year is we're having Dave McComey come out and teach Introduction to Safe Cracking.
Right.
It's $800 if you're not a member of TLA,
Yeah.
but it's only $500 if you are.
So how much is the TLA membership?
It is $95.
So if you're going to save $300 and pay $100 to save $300, it's a pretty much a no-brainer.
Oh, absolutely.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, there you go. That's some incentive to go ahead and become a member beforehand. What about like a general, like maybe the Leashy lockpicking class? What's that running? A non-member.
That's running. The one with Jareth is running at $100.
Okay.
And let me see. You would think, man, you would think I'd have all of this just like stored in my brain, but
If you don't have it right now, we can talk about it later. We can add it.
No, I do. It's actually free for TLA members.
Oh, wow. So right there, again, you're going to pay $95 and you get a $100 class for free. I mean, this is, again, just an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah, and I mean, and Jareth is very good on top of that, everything he knows.
Yeah, yeah. I
And,
mean, he's a very skilled picker. He's the one that won your Leashy picking competition last year. So no doubt with the skill involved there.
yeah, I mean, we have a physical belt on top of that too.
You're right. Like, cool. I see that. Yeah. So they can join in, right? Members, non-members can be in the competition.
Absolutely.
Is there a fee for the competition? No fee.
Nope, it's free.
Okay, free. And then, so is there any advantage to being a member versus a non-member for the lockpicking competition?
In that aspect, no.
Okay.
I mean, besides the fact, like, you know, you showed up for the show and everything else, but no, we wanted to make that open to everybody.
Okay, great, cool stuff. So let's say somebody wants to join, they want to be a competitor in the lockpicking competition. I've registered. Obviously, they would go to the TLA site, right?
Yeah.
So let's see if we can pull that up real quick here.
I don't think there's anything on there for signing up for the that competition.
Oh, okay. So there's
I'm
not.
pretty sure it's just show up.
Just show
we're
up.
Doing all that day of at the convention.
Okay, and is that before or after?
During.
So, is it a 2-day event?
No, it's just a singular day event.
Singular day event. Okay, all right, cool. Singular day event. All right. So they get in there, they take some classes, they register, and then it's their turn. Do they get a number or anything like that? How exactly does that competition work, and how does it get graded? Who is responsible for judging this competition?
Well, essentially, you know, if it's all of the locks that we're going to have on there are all going to be locked. Mm-hmm. And so if they're open, you know, you go to the next one. You don't have to do them in any particular order, but when you say you're done, every single one of those has to be in the unlocked position or able to turn.
In the unlocked position or able to turn.
Yeah, because
there's no other. Are people allowed to bring their own leashy tools?
Oh, or absolutely.
Okay, and then is it
if you want a free hand pick it, you're more than welcome.
Or could they use conventional picks if they wanted to too?
As far as I know, it is the leashy competition, so
you got to use
leashying specifically.
Okay,
and but I don't think it's restricted. If you want to try and sit there and go through everything and pick the old school way, I mean, you're more than welcome in my eyes.
Okay. Okay. So then conventional picks would be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see any reason not.
Right on. So let's just check your website out here.
Sure.
It looks like we've got the convention right here. Continuous hinge class. That's a class.
Yep.
Who's that taught by?
That would be Bill Dill.
Bill Dill. Okay.
Yes,
right.
And I've been assured many times that is how you pronounce his last name.
Okay. Great. So he's going to be covering how to install continuous hinges. Is it brand specific? Is it manufacturer education?
No, I mean, it's more or less, it's talking about what's available and, how to implement the different things, the different kinds of continuous hinges, etc. And as far as I know, I don't think it's particularly sponsored by anybody.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I know sometimes some of those classes, it's brand specific. But yeah, that's great. Okay. And then we've got this is Jareth's class, the 10T Leashy. Is there more information on this? Okay, great. Instructor, Jareth Garza, Leashy Jobs. So is this just covering pin tumbler locks or is this covering automotive as well?
Oh, no, it's both. He's going to go over the basics of residential and automotive leashing during that class.
Okay, good. And this is worth 2 CEU credits. Instructor is Jareth Garza. Hands-on class will teach you the basics of residential and auto leashy. With this knowledge, you will learn in the class to help your commercial and leashy jobs. Cool. Awesome stuff. All right. So what else do we have here? What's up with Casino Night?
Oh, Casino Night. That's actually our banquet for this year.
Okay.
It's after the convention. It's 7 to 10 p.m. that night. It's $100 per person if you register before, like when you register your classes, or $125 at the door. And it's going to be really cool. I mean, we're going to have roulette table. We're going to have craps tables, poker tables, blackjack tables. We're going to have a lovely selection of hors d'oeuvres provided by the hotel and a cash bar.
Nice.
But the prizes are where it's at.
Right here, I see a TV, a 55-inch Toshiba TV, a robot vac, countertop ice machines, a drone, VR headset, air fryer, espresso maker. This stuff sounds awesome.
Oh, yeah. That last one, that flat top griddle. I don't know if you've ever used one of those, but it's a game changer when it comes to grilling.
I have. Yeah, the Traeger makes one. They're awesome. Yeah, they are. That's really, really cool. So Casino Night, it's $100 to join, correct?
It's $100 for the tickets. Yeah.
Okay, $100 for the tickets, $125 at the door. So make sure you pre-register for this event so that you don't have to pay the extra $25 at the door. And is that cost per members or non-members, or non-members not allowed to come?
That's everybody.
That's everybody.
That's the $100 is the price for everybody, member or non.
Okay, cool. Well, that sounds fun. Those prizes are awesome. Packlock Clinic. Who's the instructor for this one?
That would be the illustrious Bill Dill yet again.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. And what is he going to teach about Packlock? I know Packlock's kind of taken the industry by storm here. They're offering restricted keyways and just really cool pinning combinations, unique lock designs. I mean, these guys are just taking the lock market over right now. Everything that's cool is involved with Packlock.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they make really just like good padlocks and everything else that they offer. The class is going to cover like assembling and servicing of their padlocks, as well as, you get to assemble one from the parts that they give you, and you do get to take that with you at the end of the class.
So $50 pretty much just covers the cost of the lock, and the class is almost free then at that point.
Well, and see, that's another thing. It's actually free for TLA members.
Oh, so you pretty much get a free padlock if you are a member. So again, absolutely no brainer. Just become a member. If you're going to interact with this particular event, you're just going to save so much money. I really like that.
Yeah.
Class is going to give you assembly and servicing of padlocks. Each student will assemble a padlock from a 90A padlock, and then it'll be theirs to take home. So that's amazing. What else do we got going on here? Wait a minute. License to carry. What is that all about?
Well, the license to carry class, it's actually offsite. It's at a firing range. And what it is basically you go out there and they teach you about all the state and federal laws on gun ownership and the use of force and nonviolent conflict resolution. And, about what should happen if you have to use your firearm, as well as where to store your guns and, holsters for your open carry and written and live fire exams. So if you take that class, by the time you're done with it, you will have your license to carry.
In the state of Texas.
Yes.
Cool. So obviously no felonies or anything like that if you're going to take that class, probably. And then is that offered by TLA or is that offered through a third-party organization?
That is also, that is through us and the range, I believe.
Okay, cool.
We have somebody who's licensed to teach that course who is going to.
And it says the instructor is Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Description, state and federal laws on gun ownership and use of force, nonviolent conflict resolution. Let's see here. Use restraint holsters for open carry, written and live firearms. So do people need to bring their own ammunition? Is this a shooting one? I know I've taken my CCW class here in Colorado, and we had to shoot a minimum of 50 rounds in order to qualify.
I believe so. I mean, you're going to have a final test. You're going to have your final test, which is your written one, as well as a range test.
It says right here, each student will need 50 rounds of factory new ammunition, no reloaded ammunition. Gun rental, $10 to rent. No training or assistance for that. That's really cool. Bring hearing and eye protection, obviously. Valid driver's license. A gun to the student, know to be safe to load and operate. 50 rounds of factory ammunition. Note to taking gear and snacks for class time. This would be from 8 a.m.
to 5.
That
should say p.m. It's not 5 a.m. That's much too long.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
That's
that's an all-day class. Yeah.
It's 8 to 5.
Okay. Cool. This is the first Locksmith Association where I've ever seen firearms training available, but I guess only in Texas, right?
Well, exactly. I mean, we're just lucky that, Red's Indoor Range was kind enough to sit there and let us go through and get all that stuff done so that people have that option. Because, I mean, more or less, if you have a locksmith license in the state of Texas, you should be able to pass the whatever check you might need to open carry, etc.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And then we've got an ethics class. So who's going to teach that? Bonnie Brown.
Oh yeah. Miss Bonnie she's been involved with the association. I mean, since I was like a little itty bitty kid, I can remember Miss Bonnie.
Oh yeah.
But ethics is what, ethics can't be taught, right? You either have them or you don't.
Right. This just reinforces what expectations of TLA ethics are, because there's a lot of different associations, and those different associations have different ethics, but they all follow a pretty similar pattern or guideline.
Yeah, exactly. My father actually used to be the one who taught ethics for years before he passed away.
Okay. So, all right. Yeah. So class description, start out. It's about an hour long. So this is one where you could take this and then you could take other classes if you needed it. And then you're going to get one CEU hour.
Yeah. Well, for our license here in Texas, you have to have an ethics course every 2 years, along with the 16 that you have to have.
Okay, so that one might be pretty popular just based on that alone. People knowing that they need to have that for their for their CEU credits. They need that as an elective for it.
Exactly.
Cool.
I mean, plus that's free for TLA members as well.
Oh, very good. Very good. All right. So class 1W SFIC. Who's going to be William Dill? Oh, same guy.
That's
Bill
Dill again.
Bill Dill again. Boy, this guy, you're going to have to pay him extra. He's teaching the whole thing.
I tell you what, there are Bill could sit there and teach 2 weeks worth of classes every day, and it still wouldn't scratch the amount of knowledge that man has. I tell you what.
That's good. Well, at least you're harvesting it and getting it to the new people that need it.
Wonderful.
So this is going to be a 3-hour class, covers the design, history, application, and pinning procedures for SFIC. The math and concepts of the core are covered along with pinning and capping procedures. A2 pinning system will be the main focus point on the class. A3 and A4 systems will also be covered. That is going to be a 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. class. So you're jamming a lot into these 2 days. Classes are going all the way till 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, we have so many different opportunities, and there's only so much time that anybody can be away from their business. You know, we want to make sure that everybody can get as much out of these 3 days that we're having all of these classes. Well, 3.5 days, because we're having a late day class Wednesday as well. And it's important because I personally, when I have to be away from the business too long, it's just a lot. So that's why it's important to knock out everything that we can.
Yeah, you lose twice, really, and I don't mean lose. You really gotta sharpen the saw, and if you want new clients and to expand your business, you're gonna have to get new tools and new skills, which is offered here. But it is difficult to take a week off. You know, that's a lot. You got to have somebody cover for you, and that's a lot of business to lose. I mean, I know, if I run hard all day long, I can bring in, $1,200, $1,500, $1,800, $2,000 a day. So shut down for 2 days. Well, I just lost $4,000 if I had 2 busy days, not to mention the time for travel, hotel, class expenses, all of the above.
Yeah, exactly. And, and from experience, I can tell you what, the Monday after you've been gone, that's the hardest day in the world. It's going to be.
Phones blowing up, messages everywhere. Everybody's in panic mode. Got to put out some fires.
Oh, exactly. And you know what? None of your biggest customers, they don't have any problems until you're at least 2.5 hours away.
That's right. Exactly. That, and if the phone's not ringing, all you got to do is make plans and it'll start ringing off the hook. Okay, so let's see. Going down the line here, we've got the Class 2F VW Audi. Phil Stout is teaching this.
Yes.
8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we got a good 8-hour class there. 8-hour CEUs. It's going to teach you how to generate VW and Audi keys, a mobilizer system from the early 2000s all the way up to 2023. 48 chip, all kinds of stuff here. Cool. So that looks like a good one. Now, is this automotive Lishi class? Is this Jareth as well? This is like day 2?
This is the big one.
Oh, this is the big one.
This is our 8-hour block here.
Okay. So I guess, is this part of the pin tumbler class or are they separate?
No, these are separate. Basically, he's going to sit there and cover everything about what you're going to run into and how to do everything. I mean, he's going to go like, what do you do if you're trying to pick a lock and your wafers bind up? There's a lot of people I know that can pick and use a Lishi, but there's also a lot of people that's all they use it for. And, it's decoding, and you can produce a working key by figuring out the cuts.
Yeah. Yeah, and that can be difficult. And I've actually got to the point where I've got a class on pin tumbler Lishi picking as well. I've got to where I can actually start decoding master key systems all through the Lishi tool and just kind of keep pushing through that pin stack and be able to decode not only detect, but decode the entire system. So definitely having those tricks It's not just about picking the lock. It's about getting the key codes out of it and understanding what's happening inside there. Maybe you've got a wafer or pin that's not giving you any feedback.
I've
Are the
definitely run into that.
Yeah, what do you do in that situation? So that's really good. So this is the big one. This is the big class. 8 hours for that one. $325. What is the TLA member price?
$200.
$200. So you save $125.
Yes, sir.
Sweet. All right. Class 3 F transponder key adaptation. Jareth Garza again. Okay.
Yeah, he's on everything, man.
He's all over the place. He's like Bill. He's all over the place here.
Yeah.
Cool. So class description, not for beginners. Transponder adaptation is all about using OEM aftermarket clonable transponder technologies to put the odds in your favor. Transponder adaptation, you will learn how to use the Autel, the X-Horse, universal key technologies to generate proximity remotes and flip keys. Class will cover EEPROM and show how transponder adaptation covers a broad spectrum in the industry. Class will be in detail and show builders how to build out shells and transponders and adapt flip keys and more. So that's another big 8-hour CEU class. Jareth's going to need some. He's going to need some throat lozenges or something for talking and teaching that much. I know teaching two or three full days it's brutal. It takes a lot out of you.
I can imagine.
All right, class 4, door hardware, app and codes. Okay, so what's this one going to be about?
This one's going to be teaching everybody about cover grading, classifications of door hardware, building, fire and ADA code requirements.
There it is.
I mean, you've got panic hardware, mortise locks, cylindrical lock sets, deadbolts, special door rating conditions, and specific types of hardware.
Yeah.
Also what liabilities you might encounter when modifying doors in the field.
Yes. Yeah. Don't want to modify fire doors out in the field if you can avoid it.
Absolutely.
Cool. That's going to be a good class. Let's see. Hands-on automotive soldering.
Gonna say
Stout.
That's
okay.
Stout.
Yeah. Hands-on automotive soldering essentials is going to teach you the proper soldering technique for many automotive applications with a direct focus on immobilizer systems. Other practical information, tools, equipment, making money with automotive key generation. Very cool. Another 8-hour class.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Master Keying Basics. Bill again.
Bill. Yeah.
We should all know what master key systems are. That's good course if somebody needs that. Alarm lock, air control. Andy Phelps. So that's manufacturer rep teaching right here from NAPCO. If you're going to learn alarm lock, you want to learn it from Andy Phelps. He knows about everything.
I mean, exactly. I mean, if you've ever watched any alarm lock YouTube video, you know his voice very well.
Yep, exactly. Aluminum storefront service and repair, Steve Goldstein. Also includes swinging doors, several of our unique products. Bring your own miniature glass hinges with pivots. So it looks like they're going to show you how pivots work and how some of their tools and their bridge units and things like that can help out with storefront repair and servicing.
Oh, absolutely.
Then we got regs, rules, and records. Another Bonnie Morris class. So this is going to probably follow right along the ethics kind of traits here. This is going to be 4 CEU credits. And this is going to be understanding Texas law and locksmithing, right?
Yep.
Excellent.
And I mean, it's something like if you've never taken that class and you're licensed, it's something to consider taking because it makes things easier for you in the long run as you're expanding your business and you have to have your employees be licensed and stuff that you can figure out so that you don't have somebody be like, hey, I'm with the Department of Public Safety and I'm here to, take a look and make sure you've got everything in order.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. We definitely need to have that as well. Chrysler, advanced Chrysler class. Who is the teacher on this one?
The teacher for this one is Walton. He is, what is his last name? I always want to say Goggins because there's an actor who also has that name, but it is not.
It's really funny you mentioned that. I'm actually reading David Goggins' book right now. The guy's done like 4 Navy SEAL trainings and Army Ranger trainings. I mean, the guy's gone through the worst, the worst training the military has to offer and runs super marathons. So kind of a popular last name.
Yeah, I don't think I would make it. I'm not going to lie. I'm a giant, and I'm also, I'm large.
Yeah, that's a young man's game. They need those 18, 25-year-old people to run and go do that. So this is going to be Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, immobilizer modules, keys, Brux remotes, BCM, PCM work, common failures, programming and troubleshooting. We're going to cover 2004 to 2024 and tools to help get the job done. 8 hours of CEU credits there. Probably, what's the cost with TLA membership?
With the TLA membership, regular price is $200. If you're a TLA member, it's $100.
Nice. And preparing for a loss. Okay, so this one looks a little unique. This one is going to be ladies, wives, office support, class for you, an informational class to discuss hints of personal experience with the sudden loss of life of partner and how to keep the business afloat. So people who have suffered a loss would benefit from this. Kind of some personal development type of classes and coaching type of stuff here. So that's cool too.
Yeah, it's actually it's taught by my mother.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, my father passed away unexpectedly in 2020, September 12th, 2020, and it's 2023 now, and it's just there was so much stuff that we had to sit there and just fight our way through, with everything being shut down because of COVID and everything else, and it really is from her personal experience. It goes a lot into it.
Wow, I think this is great. See, this is some of the unconventional stuff that people don't think about. They're always so focused on, well, I need to learn how to do cars, or I need to learn how to do electronic access, or I need to learn how to do safes. But a lot of times we don't really sit back and think, why are we doing all of this? What is the end result with doing all this? Or they get so focused on bottom lines or marketing and social media and making the phone ring. And we don't actually come back and realize we all go to work and we run our businesses so that we can come home to our families and spend time with our families. That's the real reason behind why we do what we do. And all too often, things like this get overlooked, and then wham, right out of the blue, as you have experienced, it just slaps you right across the head, and it's paralyzing. I'm sure. My goodness.
It was. I had to uproot. I ended up in January of that year. I ended up uprooting my entire life and moving out here to Longview, where I am now, to help run this company.
Yeah,
because he had purchased it before he passed away, and it was having a lot of problems. So I got, as the oldest son, I got sent out here.
Well, that you're fulfilling your duty then. It may have been inconvenient, but at least you were able to step up to the plate and pick up where he had left off. And I do my deepest condolences for your loss. I'm sorry to hear about that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's all right. At the end of the day, I never forget about him because I do everything that he does, plus, everything else. So
yeah,
humbling.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, so then we've just got a few more down here, and then we'll wrap it up with Dave's class, since I know that's your big your big mother load class, and I'm really surprised you guys even got him. I know Dave does his own pen parties, but I've never seen him really hired by another association before. Dave's kind of a lone wolf. He does his own thing. So that's really cool. You guys got him. So your T9 is going to be D-Tex. D-Tex Home Depot. What's up with that?
Okay, so that one's actually about, so Home Depot has a lot of different stuff going on nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if have you seen any of those? Like we ran into an issue with a service provider. They were having issues with the lock on the automatic cashiers. You know what I'm talking about? The auto checkouts.
Yes.
That is a whole system. I mean, oh my goodness. And it's about figuring out, delayed egress, V40 products, weatherized delayed egress wiring and troubleshooting. Like there's a whole lot of stuff to cover because Home Depot especially has very specific things you have to do on all of the stuff in their stores.
Yeah.
But that one's actually taught by Russell Hansman from D-Tex itself.
Oh, okay. Right. And this would be more of like their alarming exit devices installation?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much anything that you need to do that D-Tex provides for Home Depot is what he's going to go over in that 4-hour class.
Okay. And then, so again, how does Home Depot tie directly into this? Are they selling the product, or it would be more application orientated?
From what I understand, it's more application orientated because I think D-Tex themselves has a deal with Home Depot for all of their stores.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. All right, so there's the TLA price right there. Okay, I'm just seeing that in the box now too. So if people are looking for that, you can see the regular price for non-members, and then the TLA member price is in that little box right there. Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, I mean, you can't be a locksmith and do commercial work and not run into a D-Tex. You're going to want that. One of the coolest things I got out of that class when I took it, and I believe it was actually down there at TLA, was being able to get a cut sheet or a master key set for all of the D-Tex alarmed units. So you have those keys, you go to go change the batteries. We get calls for that stuff all the time. And of course, you get in there, you talk to the manager. They don't have a clue what the keys are. I mean, they'll hand you a million keys. None of them go to it. It's just a nightmare. And you can either sit there and pick that lock 50 times over and over and over again and try and get it spun out of there so that you can change the battery, or you cut your own key, impression your own key, or you can just have this master set and literally you've got the keys for everything ever made, which is completely awesome. I think that's a must-have for any locksmith out there.
It is. I mean, you know, after you pick it over the 2 times to get it to turn twice, you're going to wish you spent the money to have those master keys. I tell you what.
Oh, yeah, it's brutal. And I've done that too. I've gone to a job and maybe I let one of my techs borrow my master key set, or I was just in my personal car or truck and didn't have it. And, I can do it. I can sit there and pick that thing over and over again. But my quick money, hey, $250, $300 for a national service provider job, for an NSP job, you're thinking quick money, easy money. I'll just change the battery. And then you get there and you don't have your keys. And all of a sudden now your 5-minute job turned into a 25-minute job.
Oh, exactly. And the rule of thumb is if you're having to spend more than 15 to 30 minutes on trying to pick open a door, etc., you're losing money.
Yep. You're exactly right. You're losing money. So convention exhibit tickets, 0 cost to that. Just make sure that you get them. And then here we are, the crown jewel of this particular education seminar is going to be Dave McComey. So a lot of people don't know who Dave is. Dave is kind of he doesn't advertise really. If you're in the safe and vault world, you know who Dave McComey is. He's practically the father of, creating databases and organizing individuals and people and other safe technicians and bringing us together and actually utilizing and sharing our knowledge and skills so that we can become better techs. It was always, back in the day, nobody said anything. Like people didn't communicate. They didn't talk to each other. If you had to go open a container, it was brutally ugly. It was a brute force attack in a lot of cases. A lot of things got destroyed, and there was just a better way to do that. And it was because people didn't talk and they didn't interact with each other and they didn't share knowledge like we do now, that brought it to that way. And he was really one of the forefront people to say, hey, I've opened this before. I have knowledge and information that can help you with your job. Maybe the next time you do a job that I need help on, maybe we can work and exchange to exchange some information on that. And then, not to mention, I mean, he pretty much created the idea of a database. And we're talking back, when digital cameras weren't even really a thing. People would draw out. They would be looking at the back of the door, and they would actually draw with pencil and sketch out a rough idea of what that back door, or the back side of that door, looked like, and look at all the security features, look at how the lock is mounted, look at any security or relocking devices, things that are going to catch you up and trip you up in there, along with bolt patterns, measurements, center of bolt to center of bolt, how many bolts are there. All of these things really, really, really come together to give you the information that you need. And before Dave, people did not come together. They didn't document things as well as they do now. And they didn't practice their craft so they can look like rock stars out in the field. Go ahead and tell me a little bit about how you guys were able to get him to teach this.
Well, I'll be honest with you. We asked him if he'd be willing to come out of retirement and come teach a class for us. And, we asked, and I mean, even we were surprised that he said, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to come out and I'm going to teach a class. And we were absolutely thrilled.
I think that is a huge honor and a testament to the quality and what he thinks the quality and craftsmanship of the TLA Association is, because I'm not aware that he's taught for really any of the other organizations that I can think of. So you guys must have some real special sauce to be able to get him to come out to that. He really is. And he is retiring, he still is active. He's a very active person, but he doesn't do the pen parties like he used to. He doesn't do as many of them. There for a while, he was flying all around the country doing a ton of them. A ton. He would do, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 a year. And now, whenever he's doing one, I really try and make it a point to go out there and go do it, because I don't know how many more he's going to actually hold. And I don't know how much more we're going to be able to learn from that. And I will tell you, every single pen party that I've been to, it was so worth it. I mean, I've been doing this for a decade now, and I consider myself an expert in the field. I always learn something every single time, whether you learn something, a new technique from somebody else. The last one that I went to was in Boston last year, and it was amazing. I learned more about how to travel with my tooling and equipment than anything else at that particular one. I mean, I definitely got some technical knowledge as well. I always do. But really, what I really learned out of that one was, how can I travel with my gear more efficiently? Because I showed up and you have to bring your own gear. It even says right here, bring any safe cracking tools you own, learn on your own tools. So Dave is not going to be providing you with drill bits and scopes and drill rigs and things like that. Mostly because those things with beginners usually become broken pretty quickly. So that's one of the reasons he doesn't really do that.
And we will have some stuff that is there for people who, maybe they forget something or stuff like that. We'll have both board members and some of our members who are gracious enough to let us use stuff. Plus, I mean, we also had a large amount of drill bits and stuff donated to us by MBA USA. They were kind enough to give us those.
Wow.
And we're just really thrilled that they've supported us in that manner. I mean, bits are expensive. There's
Oh,
nothing worse than breaking a bit, and because you feel it in your wallet, you feel it in your hands.
oh yeah, yeah. And with safes, people always have this backwards, that when we're teaching guys how to start safe work, people think that it's like buying a set of drill bits from the hardware store. I want to invest in this great set of bits, and I'm going to be able to drill lots of holes. This one drill bit will drill many holes in the material. You take that idea and concept and wad it up and throw it in the garbage when it comes to safe drilling, because a lot of times breaking drill bits is part of the experience or part of the equation. We obviously try not to as much as we can, but when you're drilling through some of the hardest, nastiest barrier materials on the planet, carbide matrix infused steel, ball bearings are just going to destroy a drill bit if you are unaware that it has that particular barrier material in there. As soon as you touch it, it almost shatters your bit instantly.
Yeah.
There's Relsum that carbide really doesn't do well on. There's super steel, max alloy, just a lot of crazy barrier materials that are composites that just shut drilling down. So with safe drilling and drill bits, it is usually, instead of one drill bit drills many holes, many drill bits drill one hole in some applications, depending on the user and depending on the container.
Oh, absolutely.
So I've seen some guys, like I drilled a Knight safe that has that max alloy in it, and my goodness, I got through it with 2 drill bits, and I've seen really, really, really good safe technicians stack up 3, 4, 5, 6 drill bits just trying to get through that material. And we were able to use 1 carbide bit and 1 diamond bit and actually get through that thicker piece of max alloy. And that is just some brutal stuff. I mean, drill rig, carbide bits, strong arm bits, all of it. You can throw all of it at it and it barely makes a scratch. So it's more about technique.
Yeah. Having to sit there and wait, the absolute anticipation of being able to get into that container as you have to go low and slow, right?
That's right. That's right. And with diamonds, it's even worse. You get to learn about diamonds and how to use them, and you're not drilling, you're kind of cutting and grinding, and it's a slow, painful process. And if you get impatient, it's going to cost you in the wallet, and you're going to wad up a nasty drill bit in your hole. And then you're going to have to contend with that and clear all of that out before you can begin trying to continue penetrating through. And then the real big fun surprise is maybe you do actually make it all the way through that nasty barrier material an hour or 2 later. And if your hole isn't in the right spot, you got to go do it all over again and figure out what went wrong in there. It can be very demoralizing. So I can't think of anybody better than Dave to take these classes from and learn from. I mean, my goodness, the man has a plethora of information. He's known more, done more than he's forgotten more than I've done, hands down. Easy to say. And you couldn't ask for a nicer guy as far as an overall person and a human as well. Dave McOmie, there's a lot of people out there that are great teachers or very knowledgeable, and sometimes they just don't teach. It doesn't transfer very well. They're great people. They can do the job amazing. They can do amazing things, but they can't take that knowledge and pass it on to somebody, or they just get flat out impatient. And I can say Dave McOmie is one of the most kind, patient, helpful, gracious, and talented individuals that I've really come in contact with, and a true professional, a true professional. Anybody that has the opportunity to take that class should jump on it and get it now, because I'm betting that's going to be one of those classes that starts selling out very, very quickly.
Yeah, I believe we only actually have about 5 spots left in that class right now. It's almost completely and totally filled.
Yeah. Wow. Well, if you guys are listening to this, jump on it now, because it's not going to last very long. I can tell you probably by tomorrow it'll be sold out. Sure. Check it out. So when people are on this page here, if the class is sold out, Like if they click on this and it says add to cart, is that going to affect anything, or is it going to tell you when it's sold out?
Yeah, it'll be updated and it'll tell you. And if for some reason it's not, you'll get a call from one of our illustrious board members,
Okay.
and we'll explain what's going on.
All right. Cool. Very good stuff. Anything else we need to know about this event? Anything you'd like to say? Anything else that people should know?
Well, we're putting on this convention this year, and it's turning out extremely well. We're super thrilled about it. We've got so many different vendors that are coming to do the convention. I mean, we got Dave McComey to come and teach. I mean, that was a big win.
Oh yeah.
And I gotta say, for this year, like we're gonna have our hospitality suite, which is available for everybody, included, whether they be vendor, teachers, or students or members. And what that is we're gonna have a suite set up where we're going to have just all kinds of snacks and everything else that you could want for after the classes are over, and it's going to be open late. And there's going to be lots of different things to drink and all kinds of stuff. I mean, we're trying to make everything available. We want this convention to be one of the best ones we put on, until next year, of course, and just go from there. I will say our hotel blocks are 139, and that's going to end this upcoming Thursday. In terms of that, let's see, what else? I'm trying to remember if there's anything else I wanted to go over. I had a list, but I had to go work on a car earlier, and it's somewhere in the parking lot of my shop. I have no idea.
Okay.
But and then I just gotta talk about casino night one more time. I mean, it's gonna be super cool. All those prizes and stuff you can earn, and different tickets and everything else. There's gonna be a ton of people there.
Yeah.
And I'm just honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure being on the board this year and planning all these cool things for everybody, and getting all these different education stuff, because at the end of the day, now, across the board, there's always going to be people that, I have to take my class number, et cetera, in order to maintain my license. But our business in these recent years, what with COVID and everything else, is constantly evolving to the point, like, if you don't keep up with these classes, despite the requirements for our license, you'll get left behind. It's an evolving industry.
Oh yeah. Just the changing from day to day. I mean, Quickset's already got a new generation smart key lock out there that the tool really doesn't work that well on. It's crazy. It literally changes by the month almost. Automotive, every year, everything goes through a revamp. I mean, there's new things added. There's it's total cat and mouse. I mean, the industry goes and they take a look, and if you don't think that the industry is looking at YouTube and looking at all these other social platforms and saying, how are people defeating our product and how can we make a better product? You're probably absolutely wrong. I mean, in most cases, if the company really cares and wants to produce the best product, they're watching the people defeating their product. They're watching, Lockpicking Lawyer and all these other people, and they're saying, how do we improve it? And that to me is a good thing. I think it's amping up the security all around, and a lot of holes are being exposed, and then they're starting to close those gaps. So yeah, definitely. I mean, I couldn't see just going just for the CEU credits. I'm way too involved. I just like learning. I really do. I really just enjoy learning, and I like learning different people's ways to do the same task. That's what I'm really learning right now. Is I've got a pretty good idea on how to do a lot of different things, but I like to really get it down to the nitty-gritty detail. How do you do that job just a little bit better and just a little bit faster? And then when I can take a tool from maybe one of Dave McCombie's tools, and then maybe one of, somebody else's tools,
Yeah,
and then
somebody
somebody
from
else's tools.
Jared's class or Philip Stout's or any.
Yep.
I mean,
And then you kind of build your own toolbox, and then now you're a much more efficient tech. A much more efficient tech means if I can squeeze an extra call or two in per day because I was able to get those jobs done quicker, now I add, if my average ticket's $400, I can add $800 to my day. That is significant. Compound that day after day after day after day. All of a sudden, you just added $100,000 to your company's bottom line. That's what it comes down to, and that's what motivates me. Plus, just the camaraderie. It's really good to meet all these people. Everybody starts engaging in social media, online, and all these different groups. You can get out there. This is an opportunity to see who you're talking with, shake their hand, have a drink at the bar, and get to know people on a personal level. And I think that always gets so overlooked. It's so important in our industry.
I mean, there's never going to be a better time for you to talk to somebody who manufactures a ton of the stuff that you are selling through your business than at these different conventions and stuff. Because if you have an issue with something and you just complain about it and you don't discuss it with the people who are manufacturing this, how are they going to improve?
Right.
Yep.
Like,
how do you make things better unless you communicate stuff like that?
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the biggest privileges that I have, having this platform and just all the other things that we do, the articles that we write for Aloha, keynotes, Safe and Vault, Locksmith Ledger, all this stuff, is I get to go through, and when we do an installation on a product, I will then take notes, and I will go back to that manufacturer and I'll say, hey, just so you know, as an end user, this, and this could be changed just a little bit, and it would make this process easier for an end user. Or like the Lishi tools, we would get those tools before they got released and beta test them and then provide feedback. And I'm like, man, when they came out with the pin tumbler locks, because I'm not an automotive guy, I don't do any automotive work, but when they came out with the pin tumbler locks, I'm like, man, you guys got a huge hit on your hands. This is the game changer, and everybody referred to it after that. And it was.
Yeah,
I mean, it revolutionized the whole industry.
I don't know where I'd be without my Schlage Lishi and my Quickset Lishi, because I that's how I learned how to pick locks the old-fashioned way. Yep. The first time I ever picked over just a master padlock, my dad came up and he's like, yeah, you got it. That's cool. Locked it again. He's like, okay, do it again. And with the
you're like, I spent all day getting it.
Literally, I timed it. I spent 4 hours on that padlock. I cannot recreate the look I had on my face when he locked that and said, do it again.
Defeat, sheer and utter defeat. And then you're trying to remember, what did I do to do that? And then when you're learning, you don't know what you did. You somehow just got it all lined up just right, for that one incident. But that's part of the learning process. So, well, I can't think of another event this year that's going to have the caliber of educators, that's going to have the price point. I mean, even if people are out of state, they should just become a member because they're going to get so much money off the classes, for crying out loud.
Well, I mean, yeah. Plus, this year, our upcoming year after this convention is going to be our 60th year. Wow. And we're going to be putting on 4 road shows in all the different points of Texas as well during this year. And we're going to have that information available probably early in the year. But we're going to have all kinds of stuff because we want to make sure that Texas is a huge state. It's a lot to cover. Like when I was at Aloha and I was sitting there talking to somebody who was like in Delaware, he's like, yeah, I crossed 2 states in an hour. And it's like, I can't cross to any part of my state in an hour.
In an hour. Like, yeah, like 4 of your states fit in the panhandle.
Exactly. It's like, it's a totally different thing. But we want to make sure that, if anybody can't get around or can't come down to us because they're too busy or they're a one-man shop, we want to make sure that there's opportunities to continue everybody's education throughout the year.
Well, and I thank you for that. There's just the people that attend these shows, they don't really understand what goes into creating a show, to putting on an event. And I'm serving my time on the Aloha board, and I got to see that firsthand. And it's insane the amount of volunteer time, setup, tear down, making sure people are getting what they need at the right time. And there's no one person that specifically, it's their job to do any of these one things. Hey, if this person needs help, it's my job to get them to who they need to see and make sure that they have the best experience possible so that they want to come back next year. Because if these things aren't supported, then they'll disappear. And then where are you going to get your CEU credits? Where are you going to get your camaraderie? Where are you going to talk to other people who even have a clue what you're trying to explain?
Exactly.
It's just not going to happen.
Well, and that's like last year at our TLA convention, out of just sheer luck before I joined the board, I managed to win the Aloha class thing, where my classes were paid for.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, during Aloha this year, I thought the classes I took and the instructors that I had were wonderful. They are the kind of class, not only are they extremely knowledgeable and they taught me everything, that they said they were going to go over, but they're also somebody you want to go and grab a beer with afterwards and just shoot the proverbial talk.
There you go.
Yeah. And but it's all kinds of stuff, because there's so many times, anytime that locksmiths are around, you're gonna have to sit there and talk about all the war stories. You're like, oh, you'll never believe this call I got at 2 a.m. This guy locked out of his shed and there's an animal screaming in there and he's got 4 deadbolts. I've heard all kinds of stuff.
The kitten that got locked in the safe by the kid.
Yes.
Oh yeah, all the war stories are fun and they're great, and that's how we really learn. And I mean, you can take this back. It's 2023 now, but you can take this back as far as mankind goes. What were people doing, 100 or 1,000 years ago? They'd sit around the campfire and they would exchange information and exchange stories, and this is how we learn. There's no substitute for one-on-one, hands-on learning. The virtual world has come leaps and bounds, and you can learn a lot from a webinar. You can't learn how things feel through a webinar. And I just hope people really understand that. And now that these classes are available hands-on, just jump on it. I mean, please do. And educate yourself. Become the best professional you can possibly be. Be the best professional that you can be to represent your company. And be the best professional that you can be for your customer as well. And that's what this show is really all about. And that's, judging by the caliber of instructors you have, that's what your company represents.
Absolutely.
So great. Any other final words before we wrap it up?
I guess at the end of the day, the only question, that I have to pose to your audience is, have you signed up yet? If not, I mean, we're at the end of the month. The hotel, we still have a hotel block available, but that's ending. When was that? Oh, really wish I hadn't lost my notes.
It's okay.
But it's ending this Thursday. Yeah, I saw it. Yes, Mark. Thank you.
Oh, boy. All righty. Well, with that, we'll wrap it up. If you have anything else, we can put that in the comments section later. Or if you have any other links or anything you want to send that to me, and I'll put it in the chat section. I'll put it in the description box. And we'll put a link to where they can register to all the classes. And awesome. I hope everybody shows up. I hope you have fun. I hope you take advantage of it. There's not going to be a better opportunity for the rest of the year that I can think of. This is really the last hurrah, and it's really going to be one of the best ones. So congratulations to you and everybody else who helped put this together. I know it's a tremendous amount of work. So thank you for your dedication. Absolutely. And we definitely appreciate it. Have a great night. And enjoy. We'll see you next time on Locksmith Live.
Bye, guys.
See you later.